Okay, Sherman D. Manning. I'm going to be giving a speech here for a group of men at a substance abuse center. I think it's called First to Serve. They seem to be a little bit depressed and low spirits at the moment. We'll see if we can raise that level in just a little while here. So, should be coming on any minute now. Sherman D. Manning at First to Serve, getting ready to give a speech to, looks like about 25 young men who apparently are all suffering from some kind of substance abuse issues. So I'm waiting on my host, and we will get started hopefully momentarily here. Momentarily. Coming live. Coming live. Coming live. Coming live.
You want to meet point?
Hi. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Sherman D. Manning.
My name is Shelly Velasquez.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you as well. And we are speaking on your facilitating with
His what Ricky asked me to speak about. He said something about just substance abuse and the issues that people have moving forward.
Okay.
Is he here? Is he coming?
He's on a phone call.
Okay.
But our group kind of started. So, is it important that you speak with Ricky?
Oh well, I thought he was hosting it. I didn't know.
Oh no, come on.
All right. Okay, good. Okay, are you gonna be sitting out there?
Yeah, I'm over here.
Is there any way you can film some of this for me? Just point the camera.
I'm not sure. Shelly. I got it, Shelly. I'm not sure if we're able to do it.
Oh, never mind. I'll do voice recording.
Okay.
No, sir.
Yeah, he already told me.
Okay,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna voice record my comments.
Okay.
All right. Where did he tell me? Now, Ricky told me he had a lectern here somewhere for me to hold my book. Ricky, there you go. Where?
How you doing?
Yeah, you didn't tell me you weren't gonna be in there. Where's the lectern?
Who?
The lectern. The lectern. The lectern.
The lectures? I just said lectures.
No, a lectern for me to hold my. I wrote my notes down. I don't have anywhere to hold. I thought you had a lectern here. You don't have a lectern?
No, I'm sorry.
All right.
I listened.
Never mind. We'll take it from the top of my head. Then.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It, wasn't speaking for you guys to pay attention. Many books. So I think Shelly. And so, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. You got a fan you can put up here right here?
Okay, Sherman D. Manning, gentlemen. I haven't done this in a while. I'm an evangelist, a preacher, ex-con, book writer, etc. I have notes. There's no pulpit. There's no lectern, so I got to come from the top of my head. It's a little bit different for me. Nevertheless, what I wanted to talk a few moments about today was dare to dream. Dare to dream. Now, some of y'all look a little bit tireder than I am, but you will have to wake up for a few minutes now because I canceled 2 meetings to come out here and be with you all because of my relationship and my friendship with Ricky Benjamin. He's a good man. He's a great guy. I know his mother very well, and we're very close. Nevertheless, what I wanted to talk about was dreaming. Across this city in Los Angeles, I meet a lot of young men who have no dream. And I think sometimes it is a result of having problems with substance abuse, with alcohol, with drugs. And some people have prison sentences in their background, like I do. And it tends to make some folk decide that they're worthless. They don't have a plan. They don't have anywhere they're trying to get to. They don't have anywhere they're trying to go. I think that the most dangerous man you can ever meet is a man without a dream, a man without vision. I came to California perhaps 15 years ago on business. One of those cases where you came in on vacation, you're probably going to leave on probation. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And after coming here, I found myself on my way home when I was arrested. I got locked up in jail, in LA County Jail, for a crime I did not commit. I was tried by an all-white jury, convicted, and sent to prison. And that was a very, very difficult transition for me because, again, I'm from Atlanta, and I came from a family where you don't go to jail. You go to college instead. There are but 4 houses: my house, your house, the White House, and Morehouse. Morehouse is the college where Martin Luther King Jr. went, but most of you all probably know that. And I graduated from Morehouse College with a 6-year degree, magna cum laude. And so I found myself a college graduate from Atlanta in a state prison in California. And you know, this is the epicenter for gangs. So you got all these gangs and you got all these different cliques and groups. And you have this outsider from Atlanta, Georgia, who is not thug enough to be a thug, not sophisticated enough to be cool. So I had a problem in prison. And one of the things that I did in prison was I got angry with God. I was upset with him. And if you think I came to preach to you today, I'm a preacher, but that's not what I'm here to do. If you don't believe in God, your business. My girlfriend doesn't believe in God. That doesn't really matter to me. If you're agnostic, if you're atheist, that's your business. I believe in it. So I became angry with God, and I stopped speaking to him because I wanted to know, why would you let me get locked up in a prison system for something I didn't do? So I stopped speaking to him. And I developed a disease that I see a lot of brothers suffering with now. It is a disease called HIV. Not the kind of HIV that you think I'm talking about. Not the human immunodeficiency virus. I developed what's called having insufficient vision. And it is the disease that is killing us. Anytime you meet a man without a plan, who has no there that he's trying to get to, who has no goal, no dream, that's a dangerous man. And I'm saying again, regardless of the felony record, I got in jail and decided that I wasn't going to let the jail get in me. So I read about this guy by the name of Joseph, who went to prison. And Joseph got locked up in prison for a sex crime that he did not commit. And Joseph spent 13 and a half years, thank you, sir, in prison for a crime that he did not commit. And I decided that if God could let Joseph get locked up in a prison, then who the hell am I? And Joseph got out of prison and became the prince of Egypt. That is in Genesis 39 for anybody here who might read the Bible a little bit. Joseph got out of prison and went from the prison to the palace. So I meet all of these guys who have all of these excuses. I can't make it because I got a felony record. I got a rap sheet. I got a habit. I got a problem. I have a disease. The disease is alcoholism. The disease is drugs. But I have come to the conclusion, to the understanding in life that there are no excuses. If Joseph could rise from a prison and make it to a palace, if Reuben Hurricane Carter could do 20 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit, 2 of them in fact, and get out and become successful, if Malcolm could go to prison for 5 years and get out and become successful, if Nelson Mandela could spend 27 years in prison in South Africa and get out and become the president of South Africa, then what the hell's wrong with you and what's wrong with me? So I decided there were no excuses. So God and I started back talking again. And I apologized to him for the stuff that I had done wrong and for the mistakes that I made in my life. And I started writing. I discovered nothing could be more intimidating than a blank sheet of paper. And I picked up the pen and started writing. And I can remember in high school, Miss Warrior used to tell us that the pen is mightier than the sword. And I thought it was just a cliche. I thought it was just something that people said. But I took that pen and used the 26 letters of the alphabet and set manuscripts on fire. And now I've written 22 books. 3 of them have been bestsellers. And God has continued to bless my life, and I've continued to push forward. Now you heard me say, dare to dream. Now when I say dream, I'm not talking about fantasizing. If you just get a picture of something in your mind that you want to have and then you don't do a damn thing about it, that's not a dream. I call that a scheme. It's a fantasy. But dreaming is when you get a picture of something in your mind that you want to do, somewhere you want to go, something you want to achieve, and then you use every waking moment to make it become reality. The odds are against everybody that's in this room right now, including me, with perhaps the exception of the counselors. I don't know much about the program, but you're here for a reason, and I'm here for a reason. And so everywhere I go, when I get stopped by the cops, they see a rap sheet. You've been in prison. Their whole attitude changes. They think I must be armed. I must have a weapon. There must be something wrong with me. And that becomes a deficit. It becomes a handicap. But I take my stumbling blocks and turn them into stepping stones. I decided that Prison could be my preparation for my destination. And I see a lot of brothers who are angry with the system, angry with the man, angry with this and angry with that. And my question is simply, how is that anger working for you? How is it benefiting you? What is it doing to help enhance, forward, and progress your life? If it's not working, you might want to consider letting it go. Because life is tough. Life is rough. And I know everybody in this room knows that. I mean, at some point in my life, I thought about giving up because I said, wait a minute, I'm way out in California. Half my family died on me while I was in prison. And just 2 years before I made it home, I got the worst call that you can get in a prison system. I got the call telling me that Dolly Mae Manning had gone home. And when I got that call, I was ready to kill everybody in sight. Because don't take my mama from me. And what kind of God would let me get in jail and get in a situation where I could not visit with my mother when she was sick, and I could not bury my mother when she died? But some kind of way, I made it. Then I got out of prison. And when I got out of prison, 3 weeks after I was out, they called me to tell me my father in Atlanta was gravely ill and that he wasn't going to make it through the day. Well, he made it. I flew home and we spent 4 days together in the room with him. We talked. He told me everything I needed to know. I told him everything I wanted him to know. And I still kept pushing. So I tell those stories simply to say to you, everybody in here has a burden. Everybody in here has pain. Everybody in here has stumbling blocks. The problem with men is we express our pain normally through anger and through violence. We don't want to let anybody know what we're really feeling. When we get hurt, we don't use that term. I'm mad as hell. Someone did something to me a couple of weeks ago and it offended me. Really, it hurt me, but I told him that I was angry. I was upset. Let's get together. What you want to do? Because I still got a little bit of thug in me, and I still have not quite gotten where. I think Paul said it this way. He said, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended. I'm still not there yet. I'm still a work in progress. I'm still a sinner saved by grace. You have your habits. You have your shortcomings. I have mine, and I have my shortcomings. The only difference sometimes that makes the difference is when you decide to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made, to find what your problems are, and to work on them and move forward. Move forward with it. That's the only thing I can say to anybody who's trying to be successful. Now, for the 2 or 3 of you in here who really are interested, who really are trying to go somewhere, trying to do something with your life, because I know a lot of people just here because you got to be here. I've been in prison. I've been in groups before. I've been in groups that I didn't want to be in before. And I've been around boring speakers before. Well, this speaker is going to be gone in about 7 minutes, so you ain't got to worry about that part of it. But for those of you who are trying to do something with your life, my suggestion to you is, get a vision in your mind. Get a goal. Get a dream. Decide where you want to go, what you want to do. Figure out how to get there later on. Just have that picture in your mind of what it is you're trying to achieve. And get rid of the HIV. Get rid of the having insufficient vision. Because you can't be it until you can see it. And if you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. Life has taught me that. They told me I was going to die in prison. They told me that I would get out and never be anything, never know anybody, never go anywhere. I've got more speaking engagements at churches now than I can put in my book, or put on the phone, that is. God has blessed. But I prepared myself. I kept on reading and writing and reading and writing and thinking and dreaming and preparing myself for where it was that I wanted to go to. Because I knew coming out, I had 2 strikes against me. The first strike is you're African American. And not everybody here is black, I get that. But you got a strike against you too. Just look hard enough, you'll find it. But I was black. And the second strike was I was a convicted felon until the case is totally overturned, which that's going to be done very soon. So I had to come out working with a deficit. But when you work with a deficit, you simply push. I pivot. I decided I'm not going to let it stop. I'm not going to let it, I can't spend the rest of my life holding my head down, being ashamed, acting like I'm a nobody. And I see that a lot in these churches and in these